Hey everyone, so this is the walkthrough of the week 3 late night lab video, or test, assignment. Let's call it an assignment. There we go. So the lab, make sure you guys start this one really early. It can just be confusing because it has you start, and kind of work on your own. Try to really simulate a real life experience. So it can get a little scary for people who are used to having a nice, really strict outline to follow, but it's cool. So it tells you in here, make sure you review this instructions. It says start early. Make sure you click around the labs to find lab questions and how to submit it. I'm going to tell you how to do that actually below here because I just had someone who knew how to do that. We also have our video playlist, which you found because you're watching this, the rubric, and the worst case scenario. So the worst case scenario is just the list of the questions, which I will show you too. With the question, if you are unable to access the lab, contact their technical support, private message me with the answers if you have to, which is over here. And you'll only receive credit for the first section. So that's if you just can't get into the lab at all, it's just not working, do that. And then complete the population genetics lab in the lab. So you're not going to submit it to a tab to week 3 like normal. Okay, so this, thankfully, an old student of mine went through the lab and told us how to do it because for me it looks completely different than it does for you guys. Completely different. So what you're going to do is for the lab, click on the assignment tab, go to the external content launch. This will bring you to the home page for late night labs. Click on Bio 101. Click on the bold population genetics 3-point course to get started with the lab. Note this takes a while to open. Open the bottom screen. There will be a timer and 5 buttons. Click on the middle one to open the lab manual. This is the background information, procedures in it, along with a place to write lab notes. Make sure you save your lab notes after you make them. Once you have completed your lab, on the bottom, click Exit. It will ask if you are sure you want to exit. Click Yes. After you exit the lab portion, it will take you back to the late night lab homepage. This is where you will see the lab, and under it is a short answer box for the assignment. Under the bold population, it says the short answer. Click on it to bring up the assignment and questions. This will also load your notes and screenshots of your results as long as you saved them. Fill in the text boxes with your answers and save them as you go. As this does not have an auto save. If you cannot get the images to drag across properly, I found it easier to copy and paste them. At the bottom of the page, there are 2 boxes to click on, one to save the document and the other to submit it. Once you're finished, copy and paste your work to the Word document and save it for your records. I really recommend you do that because sometimes junk goes wrong and it won't save it all, or I'll just get a link and then you can just send me the Word doc over and be like, hey, here it is, I had it. Or if I have any questions or concern, you have your own copy. Also, if you ever have to do something else similar, you have your little how-to, right? And then you click submit. Once you click submit, you cannot reopen the document. Okay, give me one moment so I can open up the rubric and that worst case scenario. Oh, it's still small. Let me make the window a little bigger. There we go, that's nicer. Okay, so you see here it is. You're going to have 4 questions on the sucker. It's going to be 2 points each and then 3 points for the last one. The first one you're going to need to include frequencies at the population, individual, ecosystem level. So what happens to those frequencies and what level are we talking about? Question 2, the good and the bad traits. Don't just talk about the good traits, tell me what happens to the frequencies of the bad traits. In the question 1, it's what you copied and saved. Just make sure you save what you needed to. And question 2 is most important. Make sure you remember that this is a stable equilibrium and what that means. So you may find some stuff, but what does a stable equilibrium mean? So you might say oh, I saw this and this is a stable equilibrium, I know this should happen, therefore blah blah blah. And then make sure everything's complete sentence, no spelling issues, no grammar issues. Really the format's pretty light on this one because you're just filling out questions. Just make sure there's no issues. I might even copy and paste it into the Word document as I already said, and then just run a spell check so I know if I need to fix anything inside the window. Just makes life easier. Okay, let's open the one that is the worst case scenario. So this is a worst case scenario. This is also if you want to submit a draft, it might be easy to do this way because the drafts for this week, instead of doing the normal just attach it, you can't do that. I'm not going to go to the lab, that's like a headache. So what we would do is you will send me a Word document with your answers in it. So it might be easiest to plug them into here, or you can just copy and paste them from that short answer section into a Word document and send that to me as an attachment in a private message. Okay, so the first question is, what is evolution? So then you'll talk about it, and that's going to be right, the frequencies and what level we're talking about. How does natural selection affect the frequency? Remember your good and bad traits, right? Observe the frequency. So here's, you're going to have your different butterfly log images, right? And this one is experiment 1, generations in a stable habitat. So you talk about what you saw, you're going to talk about if anything changed, you talk about results are consistent, and you're going to really emphasize that stable habitat and what you should be seeing. Okay, so if you do see changes, is that what you should be seeing? Does that mean they're probably statistically significant? Does it mean that they're not? What does it mean? You really want to keep in that stable habitat, because all of this I have to cross-check against a standardized UOP master key, which tells me what your answers should look like. And so we don't have a lot of wiggle room. It means in some ways it's really easy, because it's just like, oh, it's only 4 questions, but it also means there's a definite target to hit. So make sure you do that. Also, that's why it's really great to send a draft to this assignment, because I am the holder of the answer key, so I can tell you if you're off or what you need to make sure you hit. That's all. You should hopefully be able to access the lab without any problems, and it should go relatively not too painless. Oh, it's a lab, whatever. You'll be pulling your hair out. Labs are meant to be pull your hair out. Under this assignment only, you'll be able to get one S post in the assignment thread to just talk about what you saw, what you experienced, kind of stuff. And that is because labs are meant to be collaborative. You should, even if you're in a huge lab, you would still be working with other people, and it really helps to just know there's other people freaking out, having the same issues or having solved those issues, and working together. So we really want to enforce that. Okay, I hope you send me a draft, and I hope this helped.